Everything paranormal. Para X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
The Calling.
And good evening, everyone. It's another beautiful Wednesday. And tonight, there's no Kimberly. There's no Willow. So there's no Wimberleys. But instead, this is called our All by Myself Wednesday, which is always the second Wednesday of the month. And tonight, I'm just not by myself. Of course not. I got my buddy, Valentina Lomborg-Wiley. Valentina, you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey. So I have to say this. This is just too funny. So when Valentina came on, and her and I were sitting there talking and stuff like that, and she's kind of bouncing around and stuff. I thought, God, she's got something going on over there. She's like, oh, I just got to tell you, I love the music that you're playing. And it wasn't me. What was going on?
So I have Spotify playing downstairs in my house. It's playing EDM music, which is like techno, basically dance music. And so somehow it's Bluetooth, so whatever I turn on, it goes there. So somehow it managed to go into my iPad. And so while I'm talking to you, it's playing in the background. So I thought you were playing this awesome music. And I thought Jerry has the best taste in music. And it turns out it's my own music playing from downstairs.
I'm sorry. I thought that was hilarious.
It was so fun.
I don't really have that good well, I do. But I like the old rock and roll in the 70s, 80s, 90s, Joan Jett, all that good stuff. So still good stuff. It's not like that stuff's dance music you're talking about, right?
Yeah, like festivals and all sorts
okay.
of crazy ecstasy and mushrooms and all sorts of crazy stuff. No, I'm not saying I do that, but I mean that whole scene, I just like to go dance to the music. That's all.
Right. I could probably do that for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'd have a massive migraine, and I'd have to leave. It's the lights. I just can't take the lights.
It's very it creates seizures.
Well, that's it's funny. Well, it's not funny actually, but one of the girls that I used to work with at T-Mobile, she, sometimes some of these things like when you turn off a phone, you turn it back on. You got the pink T-Mobile that does a lot of flashing. Boom, right there. She has a seizure, and she has to lay down on the floor and just look straight up. And she gets really embarrassed. So one day that actually happened on the floor. There was only 3 of us there. So she had to. We couldn't move her. She just had to go to the floor. So I went to the floor too. And we were laying there, and she's like, what are you doing? I said, I don't know. I figure, if you feel you look dumb, then I must look really stupid. And then customers, they understood that we're going on. So they're like laying down on the floor too, because they wanted her to be okay, Yeah,
It started a movement, and so now it's a requirement to come into T-Mobile and lay on the floor.
Exactly. That was then. Nowadays, I don't think you really want to, I mean.
Well, you do. You have to be 6 feet apart, but.
Yeah, exactly. But you can, you just kind of wrap around the mall. Anyway, so now you started out, when I first got to know you and stuff like that, you were living in California.
I think I was in Pasadena.
Were you?
I recall walking down the street talking to you in Pasadena. Yeah.
Okay, and where's Pasadena? That's it's Cali.
So it's like 5 minutes north of Los Angeles. It's just towards
That's
the
right.
mountain
Right.
range. It's
Yep.
where the Rose Bowl thing is, whatever
Right.
that is.
Right. Yep. I don't know either. I'm not really that good.
Something
about
with a ball. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. If whether it's touchdown and they made a basket, I don't get it. Anyway,
Sometimes
so
both.
yeah, exactly. So now you lived there. And then it was shortly after that is when you moved to Florida, right?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the question that we were kind of talking about, and you're like, I don't want anybody to show up with a shotgun and an alligator.
Oh,
But,
well, now
you know-
you did it.
Well, now, the people, what were Californians like with their psychic readings and all that other stuff compared to the Florida people now? And I mean, I'm sure that nobody's listening to your show.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, no, I started to do the psychic readings, and then unfortunately my parents passed, and then I took a lot of time to deal with that. And then by that time, I was just like, you know what? I'm just leaving California altogether. So I started to do it for a few months, and it was receptive. A lot of Latinos, because Los Angeles has a lot of Latinos, were coming to me as clients, and it was picking up, but it really never got off the ground, because then shortly after that, I just said, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore. So then I moved to Florida, and like I said, as soon as I got to Florida, it picked up. Like I was 10 days in, and my furniture hadn't got there. And within 10 days, people were already calling me, and they were sitting on the floor because nothing had come yet. I actually ended up ordering a couch from Amazon, and then it got there, and I didn't like it. And I thought, how on earth am I going to return that? So I called Amazon. I said, I'm sorry. I love the color. The couch has no legs. It's too low. And they sent somebody the next day, picked it up, packaged it up, and shipped it back to Amazon for me.
And then canceled your whole account and everything for you.
You are a bad customer. You've been deleted. No, but it was crazy. And then from that point on, it just started building and building. And I got so many. I have like about 300 regular clients. And that's not the new people every day, building and calling. So I can't really compare it. It was a little bit different. And those LA people still call me and book and still get readings all the way from LA with me over here. So
now, do you charge them a little bit because there's a time difference?
It's 10 cents per minute. No. Please deposit 10 cents for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
No. It's just, it gets definitely, I have clients in Hawaii. I've got a client in Marshall Islands. The further out, it definitely becomes complicated to figure out the times change. I have one in India, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm going to make you get up. But, that part gets a little tricky. But usually on my website, it says, please book for my time zone, because sometimes my client gets mixed up, and they're like sitting there like, where are you? I'm like, it's not time for your appointment yet. So I had to make a statement on there saying, please put it from Florida time zone so that you don't get confused, and then calculate your own time zone so that you know when the appointment is.
Don't rely on me for that.
Yeah. I'm not helping you on this part here.
So now, when you get people like now in Florida and stuff like that, do you visit them, or is this all done via Skype and phone, or what?
So if people can come to my house, I prefer that they come to my house. But if they live further out, like Tampa, I mean, some people have driven 2 hours to see me. Some people fly in to see me. So it really depends on the person. I don't normally make house visits. I did go to see a woman, an elderly woman in a wheelchair. She lost her husband, really wanted to meet with him, visit with him. So for that, it's like, that's fine. I want to do that for this woman. But otherwise, usually my schedule's so busy, I don't have the time to drive to everyone's house as much as I would love to. So people come to me, and then if they cannot come to me, then we do it via Skype or FaceTime. So there's always a way. And then I have the texted readings too. So people, if they don't even want to come, if they don't even have the time, they just send a picture. I do the texted reading. I send back my reading to them via text, and nobody even sees each other, meets or anything. So.
Yeah. Well, that's how you did it for me.
Yeah,
and that was I still talk about that quite a bit.
Aww.
Because I was very amazed about what you caught just off that. So if you guys are looking for a really good reading, and you don't want to talk to her, no, I'm just kidding. No, you just need to send a photo.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I mean, the reading that you gave me was absolutely spot on. And I remember talking to my friend Steph. She's in the chat room. And I was telling her about, what you had said. The big thing that still really freaks me out is that time when you had your what was the wand you had? And you still have, I'm sure. The wand you use for clearing?
Selenite?
No. Yeah. Selenite, that's what it was. And I seen it on your Facebook, and I asked you how, selenite, how do you use it, all that stuff. And you said back to me, now I never even live chatted you at this time or anything like that. We were just Facebook friends. And you said, why do you need to use that when you have your, oh gosh darn it. Come on, Jerry.
Tourmaline.
Black tourmaline. My black tourmaline on my dresser. Use that. It works just as good. And it's like, what? How would you even know that? I've never even said that to you. That was you got me at that one. I mean, that's when I was like, okay, now I know two people that are real for sure, Bobby Sullivan and yourself. And it's like, that's just pretty incredible stuff. I mean, how does it come to you when people start talking? Does it come flashes, or how does it come out?
That's a good question. It really varies because with my gifts, they're so freaking sensitive that if I just even as much as look at somebody's name on the phone or think, oh, what's so-and-so up to? Like 5 minutes later, they text me. Or in the case, I'll give a good example. Like a couple months ago, I got my hair done, and my hairdresser's brother had passed. And I was brushing my teeth, and I was looking down at my phone, and I was looking at her name, and I'm like, I need to get my next appointment booked. And all of a sudden, I heard her brother's voice, and he gave me some information that she hadn't even told me, but they had actually been wondering about. And I texted her immediately. And I actually just got my hair done yesterday. And she goes, oh, my God, you have no idea. So I saw this text come in from you. And I thought it was going to be like, when do you have open for my hair? And what you wrote me, I had to stop doing hair and sit down. She goes, it was exactly what the whole family was wondering. And you gave all that information. And it just freaked her out. But I said, well, yeah, how do you think I feel? I was just brushing my teeth. And then all of a sudden, all this information comes. So it can come at any time. I try to turn it off. But sometimes if I just as much as think about somebody or a friend or something, something will come through.
Okay. So now, when stuff does start coming through and stuff like that, it could be something that you had no clue that you could even do, and it just somehow sneaks its way in there. And if you try to shut it off, it actually pushes more towards you. Am I right?
Yeah, it can. Some things I will push out of my head and I'll keep hearing it. And that's usually my sign for that, no, I need to get this to you. And so I'll push my own thoughts out and listen to what somebody's trying to say. And then I have to figure out, who am I supposed to give this message to? Because stuff will just come in and I'm like, okay, who does this go to? Where am I supposed to get this? I don't want to mess it up. I want to do diligence to the deceased.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I got the chat working, so I'm like...
Oh, okay. So Steve's got a question here, Valentina.
I saw it.
Yeah, do you still use his Serenity spray?
Was that the spray that he made for me for the ghosts? It's not Serenity spray. It's called Entity spray or something like that.
He's changed the name a couple times.
Oh, nobody told me. Did you run it past me? No. Okay. All right. Yes. Well, yes, I do. And it's funny. I wanted to thank you because that is actually in my house cleansing and blessing kit. But I still have a lot left. Believe me. I just go in and I do a little like that. And then, because I'm like sparingly using it. But yes, I love that. And yes, I do. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Sherry. Nobody can see me. I'm waving at Jerry to say hi to Sherry.
She is. I can, kind of.
Okay.
I
will read the chat and verbally talk. How about that?
There you go. Sounds good. Okay. So now, just kind of curiosity, because you've done a lot of different stuff. You're a certified scuba diver, right?
Yes.
Yep. Now, have you ever gone out and done like any swimming with, because I think it's in West Palm Beach is where the whale sharks go through, right?
I don't know about that. I went to Belize and swam with whale sharks and went diving there.
Wow.
But it was something I will never forget. Here's where it gets weird, because we went on the boat. First of all, whale sharks only come through 3 months out of the year, 3 days before a full moon and 3 days after a full moon. So you have to really gauge your trip. So I sat there and I'm watching the calendar, watching the plane tickets, watching the hotel. So finally I get the perfect opportunity in some like May month of, I don't know what year it was now. God, it's like 2005. And so I fly over to Belize by myself and I get in the water. We're down at 100 feet. It's just blue. Remember when you had the VCR and you forgot the movie would end and the screen would be blue?
Yep.
Remember that? Okay. That's all you can see. There's just nothing. There's no coral. There's no rocks. There's no sand. It's just blue all the way around. It's probably the most frightening thing because you're just in blue space. There's nothing, you cannot see below you. I'm at 100 feet and I'm like, and we're 50 minutes into the dive. We only have an hour. And I'm like, we have not seen anything this entire time. And I'm like, please, we're going to go up soon, please. And I look to the right and out of nowhere, out of the blue comes this big 4-foot wide mouth. And then this thing just goes right in front of me with all these spots and stripes. It's 35 feet long. And I'm just like, and then it just goes like, it was like ballet. It just goes, and then there it went. And I was like, oh my God. And I started crying inside my mask, but it was already wet. So I'm like, tears are, and then I looked below me because I was like, how deep am I really? And from the depths comes one up, rising right below my feet and comes up in front and goes to the left. So we saw 10 minutes before the dive was done.
Wow.
So I was like, I will never forget this. So I went back on the boat. Everyone else went back in the water. And they're like, aren't you coming? And I said, no, I'm not. I just felt like I just was going to lay on the boat. So I stayed on the boat with the captain. The entire dive, nobody saw anything. And they're like, how did you know to stay on the boat? And I was like, I don't know. It was just this sense that there was going to be nothing on the next dive. And I just stayed on the boat. And, I'm in the middle of the blue hole and out in this gorgeous ocean. And I just stared at the ocean. But that was the most memorable thing ever.
That I've seen a lot of documentaries and stuff like that talking about, the whale sharks, and it's just totally incredible, completely. That would be, if I wasn't afraid for the water, I'd go. But no thanks.
No, you're not afraid of water. It's
What's that?
But, that's
Right.
just how I like to do it. A little
Right.
backwards.
Well, when I was a kid, we were fishing up by Hines, Minnesota, and we had the boat out and stuff like that, me and Grandpa, and he said, see what it's kind of caught on. I looked down, and here was a girl, was dead in the water. And that pretty much did it for me, yeah. The only other time I ever really did any swimming and stuff is when I was dating my future wife. Then that was like, I'd go out there, but I'm scared to death of the water.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, she tried to drown me one time, but that's, it's just the way that goes, I guess. So, but okay, so now when you're doing readings for people and stuff like that, have you ever, started to do one for somebody and then all of a sudden you found out that they were the bad ones, where they wanted to know something and then you see like a crime or something that they did?
Oh, did you ask me this one before?
No, I've never asked
No, I've honestly never looked at that. I mean, mostly the people that come to me have issues. They're good people. I do get not a lot, but I do get cases where they're like, there's mysterious murders and they need to know who did it. And I'll go back in and I will view the scene through the victim's eyes, and I will usually see if there was someone else there or if they were alone, and give them part of the answers to what they're trying to find out, if they were murdered or if it was self-inflicted, things like that. There have been cases where I will see if the guy or the girl knew the person, and then my client will sit and say, oh, we know who it is. And I'll say, hey, don't go doing any vigilante stuff, please. I don't want to get in trouble for, what I see. And then the next thing, the family goes out to do their own equal justice or whatever. But yeah, if I do see it, it's usually when I do see murder cases, when I'm channeling in the mediumship readings, because either people die naturally or through suicide, or sometimes I get a lot of mysterious death, questionable mystery diagnosis. So I have to go in and see, to the best of my ability, what really happened and get a little bit more. I usually get enough clues so that we can just close that chapter and know what happened, and then everybody can be happy and they can move forward. My aim is always to help people heal and move forward, and usually it's because there's answers that are missing. So I try to get those answers for them, and then we can lay all that to rest,
Right. This is 3 years ago, I was living in this hotel. And for some reason, this hotel, it was very haunted. I was up on the 4th floor, room number 420. Yes, people do knock on the door. Got any pot, man? But anyway, so this place is really haunted and stuff. My room was haunted. Didn't really bother me that much. I got to know some of the people there, and I did smoke readings for a couple of them and stuff. And this one girl, it was this girl's sister called me up. She lived over in Buffalo. And she said, I have to ask you a favor. And I said, sure. She says, what do you see? My friend never made it to the bar last night. I said, I don't do that kind of stuff. I said, I don't know that stuff. I don't want to know that stuff. Well, she's missing. And I'm like, I don't want to be that type of person. I mean, you probably do and stuff like that. A lot of people do. And I've talked with a lot of people and they're like, oh my God, I would really like to know, this kind of, that kind of thing where they can see the future. I don't, because it really bothers me. But once she told me that her friend didn't show up, immediately I was freezing. My chest was on fire. I couldn't breathe. I was breathing in water. I was panicking. My hands were on the steering wheel. I was so cold. My head felt like there was great amounts of pressure. And then all of a sudden, it was just all done. I couldn't hear. I couldn't see. And that was it. And then I, told her, I said, okay, this is what I see. I said, I don't know if it's right or not. It was right. Her friend was heading to the bar that night. She had a few too many at home. She drove right into a lake, and it went down in the wintertime. It broke through the ice, and she died from drowning. And that's the same type of things that you would go through, the lungs burning, the head, just feeling of that implosion. And it's like, I don't want to know that kind of stuff. I don't want to do that. But then it was a couple weeks later. Actually, a couple months later, this woman called me again and she said, what do you know about the two older people up in northern Minnesota? And I said, what are you talking about? They're missing. And I'm like, no, stop. Why are you doing this to me for? And it came to me. The guy, their car broke down. He drove out onto the lake. His wife ended up freezing to death. He decided to walk to go get help. And as he was walking and stuff like that, he got extremely tired and he sat down for a moment and he froze. Wow. And they were both older, and I do believe they were aunts and uncles of hers. Aww. And they did finally find the bodies. It was, it was a few days after that and stuff. And it's like, I try not to, I don't want to get involved in that stuff. Now, recently, my roommate's aunt's been asking me questions. She's been going through some things with her husband, and I did tell her straight out, you've been married for 30 plus years? She said, yeah. I said, you're going to divorce him.
Wowie! Like, you're a homewrecker.
Yeah. No. I didn't do it. I mean, he was really a bad guy.
Yeah.
Really bad guy. Oh my God, he's still a nasty person. But anyway, it's just crazy. It's just stuff comes. Cat's asking, smoke reading. That's why they thought you have pot. Oh, come on, Cat. I love her. She's so cool. And I see that Paranormal Writer is back with us. It's been a long time. Paranormal Writer is a very interesting guy. He's a pilot that was flying a plane, and he's seen a UFO in front of him.
Oh.
Yeah, and when we did the research and everything, there was a report that was put on that, and there was two UFOs, one in front of him, one behind, and they were both called in over out east and stuff like that. And we were able to put it all together with the timeline that he gave us and stuff. It was incredible. Just cool. What
That's
a show
awesome.
that was. He's been signing autographs and doing the, I don't know. I think Ricky Lake signed him up, but, she's been done for a long time or something.
Oh, Lordy. She's right there with Sally Jesse.
Yeah. Raphael.
Raphael.
Well, we're going to go on break, and we're going to be back in about 2 minutes, so everybody sit tight.
Hey there. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a great new radio show on Para X. 2 hosts, 1 hour, and too much fun. Stephanie and Heidi not only talk about the latest goings-on in the supernatural worlds, they live it. They want to hear from you. They want to help you understand and guide you. And they want you to tune in. So, grab a friend or come alone to gather around that metaphysical table with Heidi and Stephanie. If you're interested in the worlds of the unseen, tune in to the Gathering Radio Show, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Para X Radio.
Demons, vampires, werewolves, skinwalkers, all of this and more, Sunday nights at midnight on the Staring Into the Abyss radio show. Come, get lost with us.
Those geek ladies, Chong and Victoria from Exploring the Paranormal with Geeks Paranormal, are at it again with another amazing season full of paranormal celebrity interviews with amazing guests and stories of haunted locations and so much more. You will hear it first on Para X. Tune in Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. You will not be disappointed.
And we are back. This is Jerry with The Calling, along with Valentina Lomborg-Wiley. The Wimberleys have the night off, and if you're enjoying the show so far, or if you missed the first half, you can actually go to www.thecallingradioshow.com, or you can go to our YouTube channel, The Calling Radio Show. Now, if you are looking for entertainment, don't look any further than Para X. Come on. There's nothing else around that's even close to it. Just there's shows on 24/7. Listen to them. I'm here. You have The Gathering. It's on Tuesday nights from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. You have The Calling here, and right after us, it's Geeks Paranormal. Give them a listen and have some fun. Okay, we are back. What is that word she's calling me? Cat? Belligerent?
Yeah.
Belligerent.
Wow. Hooked on phonics. Worked for you.
Oh, you're such a smart aleck. Well, does it look like belligerent to you?
It's belligerent. Do you not know your
Is
own
it
word?
really? I don't call myself belligerent. I call myself sexy. Okay, so we had some questions here. Jerry, did you manage to give away the Gathering face mask? No, but we do have a Sim one that we'll be doing some things on. And yeah, hooked on phonics. Thank you, Valentina. Gotta love you, girl. Let's see. There was wasn't there a question from Steve or something?
Yeah, Steve. Well, Steve, let me scroll back up. I actually screenshot it. Now I lost it again. Oh, yes. Have you ever felt a strong wave or strong vibration hit you before all the information hits you? I'm not sure if I kind of covered that. Did I? No, I don't recall. Well, no, not that I mean, a lot of stuff happens in my subliminal I get hit with stuff when I'm doing the most mundane, regular things for myself. That's when I get information. So it'll trickle in, and then when I actually sit down to focus on my client and get ready, then it really pours in. I find that the energy always starts building during a reading, and then it gets really crazy, and then I'm just trying to keep track of all the voices in my head.
And are some of those, kind of scary?
No, never.
I was being belligerent.
Yeah, you were.
Belligerent.
Yeah. What he said. No.
Okay, so now, if you weren't doing the psychic biz, what would you be doing?
Oh boy.
Starbucks?
I don't know. Wow. No. I mean, I've modeled my whole life, and I fell into that, and then I fell into being a medium. I don't think I've really have had to choose my life. At age 5, I actually wanted to be a paleontologist, but I guess there's not much money in that. So my next love, I studied forensics for 7 years, and I was actually getting ready to go. I did take some courses, but I was getting ready to go to school for it when my then ex-husband was suddenly shot on the freeway by a gang member. So
what? Wait,
on
what?
the way to work at an exit, he's in a suit. And the guy just walked up and said something, and then just all he heard was like an explosion. And then the guy got in his car and drove off, and he looks down, and there's just a bullet hole in his leg, and there's blood everywhere. And he calmly called me and then drove himself to a hospital. And I'm like, oh my God, where are you? It was quite bizarre. And it went all the way through his leg and missed the femoral artery. But that just shows you how rowdy LA can be at any time. At 8 a.m., somebody can just walk up to your car as you're stopped on an exit and shoot you through the window. And LA is like every day you're just trying to stay alive.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's like hardcore. It was like I got pulled over on, was it Monday night, yeah. I was going to pick up Steph and Casey. They were coming back from Friday Harbor, Washington, and I got pulled over because it's here in Minnesota. There's curfew from 7 at night till 6 a.m. in the morning because, of course, of the shootings and stuff that have been going on. And they asked me where I was going. I told them to the airport to pick them up, and they asked me if I'm armed. Have a gun. Yeah, go, yes, I do. I have a permit to carry. And okay, don't stop for nobody unless it's police. Just stop for nothing, no matter what. Just keep going. If you need, call the police. But yeah, nothing happened. But it's kind of scary around here right now,
Yeah.
It's just incredible. I could say more, but I don't think Parax wants me to. Plus, I don't want to be belligerent.
Yeah, belly-gurrent.
Belly-gurrent. Yeah, that's the word. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so next time to be might not be a good time to be carrying a gun. But yeah, it is. Anytime for me, it's a good time. But anyway, so okay. I know. No
heated stories. No religion. No politics. No.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, so what was the question that I had? Okay, so the question is like, what else would you be doing? So you actually went to school to be a
CSI is actually called a CSA. Yeah, I you know what? It's in me to solve things. I love putting pieces together and bits and pieces and blood spatter and come up with the solution to what happened. there's something gratifying about putting somebody to justice, getting justice for the family and punishment for the wrongdoer. So I think that the appeal of the puzzle, putting puzzle pieces together in forensics is fascinating to me. And there was just a great love for that. So if I wasn't doing mediumship, I would be doing CSA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how tough was it?
It's very tough. As I found out, it's one of those, well, luckily the school I was going to go to ultimately and transferred to, they do place you in a system so that you can start working right away. But it's one of those, it's like voiceover artists. It's a very tight community. It's hard to get into. And just like for a CSA, it's a tough field to get into. You think that there's tons of openings, but there really isn't. So I think that's probably what kind of ended that and turned a different route. I didn't choose to be a medium. It chose me. And, I understand now why, because of all the life experiences I've had that I can speak on and help people with. But I definitely didn't seek out and go, oh, let's wake up one day and be a psychic and a medium. I had retired from modeling, and I was sitting and thinking what else I was going to do. I just didn't really know. I was taking a break. I also have done several albums with bands. I've sold several hundred paintings with my gallery. So, I'm kind of all over the place. I do a little bit here, a little bit there. I just go where the wind takes me.
Gotcha. So now with your mom and your dad and stuff like that, did they have anything going on in the psychic world or anything?
Well, no. It's weird because just a few months before they passed, I had told them both what I was doing, and I'd shown them a lot of the transcripts of all the things. I wrote down the notes, and my mother said that the nicest thing she said was that your dad and I are very proud of what you're doing for our people and helping. And so it's heartwarming for me to know that they left this earth knowing what I do, first and foremost, because it was so fresh, and then everything just happened after that and went south. But then when I was cleaning up the house and, packing everything up, I found over 30 books from the 1970s, paperbacks that are out of print: Sylvia Browne, Life After Death, UFOs, Bigfoot, Mothman. And my mother and I never even talked about this. Like, I didn't even know that she was, all of them were like afterlife, life after death. And I'm like, why did we not have this conversation? So this is why I feel she's so good at working with me and communicating on the other side, because she's been reading this stuff for over 30, 40 years. So it's almost like it prepped her for being so good on the other side and knowing how to help me from the other side. But I was just like, what? This is what I'm doing now. And you've had these books since the 70s. So I kept a lot of them. I did sell a lot of them because, they were antiques or whatever. They're hard to find. But I did keep quite a few of them because I'm like, oh, my God, these are really, I can learn a lot from these books. So that was like kind of a shocker. But, my mother was on her way to being a podiatrist, which is a foot doctor. My real father is a doctor. So I come from a line of medical world. So I'm kind of the oddball that went the other way to something, less scientific, we can say.
Gotcha. I'll send you pictures of my foot. You tell me what you think. No.
I want to kill you.
I don't want to kill you or anything. Wow, you guys heard it first. Got somebody here that kills plants.
Somebody's knocking on my door. No. Please open up.
That's funny. So what is your stand then on Bigfoot?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, because you never invited me in the Bigfooty club there. So my mother had this thing. We'd go on a trip every summer for 3 months, and we'd alternate between Europe and America. And we get an RV, and we'd go around America. So one year was dedicated to dinosaurs, and we went to Utah, and we dug up dinosaur bones. Then another year, we ended up in Oregon looking for Bigfoot. And I was like, what is it again we're doing? Like, why are we here in the middle of the woods? And then we smelled this sulfurous smell, and then we just all ran to the car. And that's probably as close as we got to him, but it smelled like rotting eggs. I never saw anything, no hair, no footprints, but we smelled some really foul smell. We were high up in some mountain in Oregon near Lake Washington. So that's as close as I got, but I completely believe in him. My theory, and I'm going to stick to it,
Okay.
is that he's some sort of missing link that, and this is all my own theory, so you can like boo-hoo it or whatever. He's the missing link. He's some sort of caveman that went underground and has been living all these years underneath the ground. That's why he walks upright. He's very smart. He's very good at hiding, but he's curious at the same time. He's watching us because he wants to kind of know. He wants us to know. He wants us to see him, and so that we know that he's there, but then he hides. But they're also watching us to see what we're up to. And I think that the veil is getting thinner. I think they are starting to get closer. There's more sightings, more people are photographing them, filming them. I do believe he's real. I do believe he's like 10 feet tall. Definitely has gotten really good at hiding out, and that's why we've never seen him or found bones, because he does hide out.
So would you be interested in knowing that I actually seen one?
Yeah, you better send that picture after the show.
No, I wish I had a picture of him. Actually, I don't. I'm glad I don't, because when I seen him, I think it was 2015, and I was visiting Squatchers. That's Keenan's daughter. That's the girl that you can see there, Steffi Jane. She's the head of Squatchers. And so she asked me to come and meet him up there for dinner in Bina. And as I was driving up there, I was kind of looking around because my grandfather and I mean, I'm from the area, roughly Bemidji. And as I'm looking around, I'm thinking, I remember when this was all, lakes and stuff, and there was just nothing there. Well, then all of a sudden it looked like there was a moose trying to get up from the ground. And I kept watching it, and it got up on 2 feet, and I'm like, wait, what? And I'm just staring at it. I'm thinking, is that a bear? But, it's standing on 2 legs. And a bear has a bulbous rear end, short legs, long body. This was proportionate. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, this is a Bigfoot? And I have my camera, and I'm trying to get the case open with one hand. I didn't want to take my eyes off of it. And I kept watching it. And then it did something that I was quite surprised. It looked across a river that was there and put its hand up to shield itself from the sun. So that's intelligence.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then it started walking towards the woods, and I'm still trying to get everything done, but I watched everything. I watched its legs, its thigh muscle, its butt, everything. I watched. No, I'm serious. I watched. I checked out a Bigfoot's butt. Okay, give me a break. So anyway, I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I can't believe this is what I'm seeing. But it had a gray patch on its back, and then it finally went off into the woods and stuff, and I called up Steph, and I'm like, you're not going to believe what I just seen, and I told her about it. And this is my belief, and I believe a lot that the Squatchers believe in, that number one, Bigfoot, he or she is is nothing to do with aliens.
Right.
I don't think it has
it's its own thing.
A darn
He's not
thing
that advanced. He's not. This is a simple man.
Yeah, exactly. Cat Jerry likes Big Foot.
I
Yeah.
saw that, and don't lie about it. No.
But they are interdimensional. I do believe that that's what the native people believe, that they're interdimensional. Now, some people get that confused with UFOs. They think that because usually where there's Bigfoot sightings, hold on, where there's
put that
Bigfoot
there?
sighting, I don't know.
There was a marching Bigfoot on the screen.
Oh, that was Sarge. Good old
Oh.
Sarge. So, no. God, just as I was starting to get my train of thought going.
Sorry.
That's okay. So anyway, now where there's Bigfoot, people say they see UFOs. There could be a spot that's interdimensional that they both use, but I don't think one has anything to do with the other. And also UFOs. I mean, who's to really say that there's aliens in those? Do we not have drones? Could that be drones from further out to get through?
Right.
Never seen an alien, but I've seen plenty of UFOs ever since I was a kid.
They could be super giant drones.
Exactly. What is, let's see now. Let's see what some of the people say here. Everybody's typing too quickly.
Well, I'm reading. I'm seeing if there's anything.
Bigfoot was a serious set of abs and glutes. If you take a look, this is me talking, my opinion, not the opinion of Para X or Valentina's or anybody else's, but if you take a look at the Bigfoot that Patterson has and take a look at the 4K colorized version of it, and you take a look on how it moves and stuff, that's not real. To me,
you say the Patterson is not real?
Yep. No, that is not real whatsoever. In my opinion.
I believe it is. Just because the other footage I've seen, he moves the same. He's got the same forehead and dirty face. I think he was because honestly, think about it. Where would you get a suit like that made, and who has the time to do something like that? You also have to think about the mentality and the psychology that goes into who would need to do something like that at that era, you know?
Exactly. Yes, Paranormal Writer, I did call it a hoax. I've always called it a hoax from the first day that I even seen it. I never once said, oh my God, they got a Bigfoot on there. No, just something just seems to be really interesting about that, but I've never thought. I mean, people thought that the creature from the Black Lagoon was real.
Oh,
please. Back in those days. No, they really did.
So's the man of 1,000 faces.
No, seriously, there was a lot when that came out. I remember when I was a kid when I first heard about it, because I think that came out in the 40s? Late 40s, early 50s. But I remember reading an article about that where people actually thought that that was a real thing, that those were real. I mean, it's like, oh my God, George Orwell's,
1984.
No, not the first the radio broadcast one. Yeah. Radio broadcast one, they thought that was real. I mean, people were looting, they were running for their lives and stuff because they thought it was real. So, I don't know. Moofy, he has a hard time believing people are real too. People are not real.
People are strange when they're strangers.
Exactly. But so what is your thought? Well, I know what your thought is about ghosts and stuff. What is your thought now? We did an investigation not too long ago, my team Sim, and we did a place in Humbird, Wisconsin called the Hotel Bar and Grill. And what is your thoughts on what creepers are? You know what creeper is? They're just like, They're like a black entity that a lot of people say that they were never human.
Oh,
They
the
were
shadow people.
the shadow people, but some of them are creepers where they actually they have a form and they move
Steve
across
has a
the ceiling
question,
and
but
stuff.
Oh, well, you're calling them creepers. I've seen those in my other houses. I use my previous, the first place I moved to in Florida. I would lay and I would watch shadows and things, black things go across the ceiling. They never messed with me, but there was a lot of movement because I can see energy. So I can see I would see little sparkles, which would be good light. I mean, good things. And then I would see just like black, shadowy, smoky things go back and forth. And a lot of activity. It's weird when you're as open as I am. You tend to notice a lot more stuff that really goes unseen by the regular people that are just sort of in their own myopic world and closed off. And it's quite frightening. I've been contemplating putting a night vision camera up in my bedroom just to see what actually probably stands by my bed and watches me sleep. But I'm kind of afraid of what I might find, so I'm not sure if I want to do it. Because lately I've been, Steve had a good question asking if I feel like I'm in between dimensions. And I don't know if some of you guys know this, but I've had a lot of issues with my brain, and I just got re-diagnosed last week with non-convulsive seizures and also complicated migraine syndrome, which is more rare than migraines. So with the seizures, something has happened. I literally, and this is the first time I'm talking about it, I haven't even put this on Facebook, but the last few days, my brain now is able to split into two, I guess because we have two hemispheres, but one can stay fully asleep while the other is communicating with other beings and terrestrials and things. So they're telling me all sorts of ideas, and sometimes I wake up and write them down, but the other half of my brain is completely sleeping. So now I'm able to not only function and work and get stuff done on one side of the brain, my other half of the brain is able to sleep simultaneously. It's bizarre. You're saying right like it's normal. It's not normal.
Right. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, girl.
Now you're being a dork. No, but
it all is.
It's because of the seizures that I'm having. There's like all this short circuiting going on in my brain, and it's sending all these little vibrations and stuff. And so now I'm noticing new things, new activity happening in my brain. But I've noticed that when I'm fully asleep, I am also communicating with other beings. They're telling me things, extraterrestrial beings. So, telepathically, they're talking to me. So they've found a way to get in my brain and talk to me when I should be sleeping. But now one side of my brain is reserved for talking to them, and one side is actually allowed to sleep. So I don't know how that works, but that's pretty cool.
What does your husband say about that?
I wish
Does he know which side of your brain to slap?
You're being Billy Garrett.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think sometimes, he's just sort of listening. And
right.
Is the music coming? Do we have to stop?
Yeah, we have to stop.
Okay.
All right. Wow. Well, thank you very much, Valentina. This has been awesome. This was a great show. And you were worried because we didn't have anything to talk about. We have plenty to talk about.
I know.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Para X. Thank you, Sarge. You're absolutely fantabulous. And thank you, everybody in the Para X world. And thank you all, and have yourself a great night. And hang tight because, thanks
Geeks Paranormal. Thank you, troops. Love you guys. Geeks Paranormal is coming right up, so don't go anywhere. Just grab some water. And
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye.